everybody doing? I just got looking at I'm sitting on the floor because, oh, it's books up there. I'm looking at that. I'm like, what is up on that shelf? I'm sitting on the floor because my office is still such a mess, and I wanted to do a live. I just got off a training of my own from a class that I'm taking, and just felt really inspired to get on today and share a couple really important things that I think are going to help you moving forward in the next little while. Because if you're living in the world today, you're seeing a lot of breakdown of structure. So it's creating a lot of fear, and there's a lot of battle for your attention right now, and a lot of battle to keep you in a place of, oh no, what do I do? Who's going to come and save me? And so I want to explain from an energetic standpoint and from a human design standpoint exactly what that means. Because when you create awareness around what's going on, and you create awareness around your position and your place in the world and what you're here to do and experience, it helps you close out all of the noise, and it helps you really understand, okay, I don't need to be afraid because I actually have a purpose, I have a timeline, I have a plan, and the universe, God, is constantly trying to push me back into that plan. But all of the fear, all of the noise, all of the chaos, all the stuff that's on the internet and the news and in the environment, just talk in a toxic way, like physically toxic, that is all trying to keep you from trusting yourself. So I want to talk a little bit today about something in human design that some of you may know about and some of you may not, called your incarnation cross. And collectively, we have an incarnation cross that the world moves through every 400 years. So you were born with a specific incarnation cross, and that is your purpose. So if you, I don't have a visual, well, yeah, I don't have a good visual. I have my chart pulled up here. Okay, so if you have your human design chart and you've done it and you already know a little bit about it, the main part of your incarnation cross. So when you go pull up, if you go into Jovian Archive and you pull up a human design chart, you're going to see right here at the bottom, and they've restructured how they put it on the website because this is an old printout, but right down somewhere on there, it's going to tell you your incarnation cross. Your incarnation cross is the sun. So up here at the top, you have a design side and a personality side. It's the sun and the earth, and the sun and the earth on both sides. That is where everything came into a cross at the moment that you were born. So your personality sun is what tells you really what you're here to do and what your purpose is. But as a collective, we are going through a huge transformation from the cross of planning, which has been the last 400 years, into the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And what is interesting about that is, if you're very aware of what's going on in the world, you know that things are crumbling. Pensions have gone away. There's the talk of Social Security going away. The government is a mess. Like all parties in the government are knowing we can't trust anybody, right? So all of these systems of structure are breaking down. Insurance has gotten sky high. So all these things we've depended on to give us security have gotten out of control. And so things like you're seeing less people get married. You're seeing family structures break down. You're seeing a lot of explosiveness in families, or people just kind of being like, yeah, I'm going to go do my own thing. I've experienced that personally in my family, for temporarily myself, and then also with some of my children. But when you understand the purpose of it, it makes it so it still hurts, it's still hard, but it makes you go, okay, this is just part of the bigger picture. Because truthfully, all of these systems need to crumble so that we can get back to our inner self, so that we can stop depending on somebody coming to save us. Because that's what we have been conditioned and programmed, is that someone else has the answers for me. There's a higher power that tells me what to do. There's an authority that connects me to God. This is why people are starting to really question religion, because they're starting to see, oh, I can have my own connection to God without all the rules and without all the damnation and all the things that we get told in religion that are going to happen if you don't follow the rules. you're not here, some of us are really not here to follow the rules. It's deeply in our design to bend, break, push extremes, do things so that we can either experience for ourselves and then come back and show the collective, yeah, that was a good idea or that's a bad idea, or we can just help push the collective forward by saying, yeah, the old stuff doesn't work anymore. So all of us have places in our human design that tell us that. So what we're now moving into is the individual. So we're coming away from the tribal, okay? So if you're coming up against relationships, all relationships, this is a time when relationships are falling away. They're either staying because let me figure out how to explain this. Let me think about this for a sec. So you as an individual, as you become more and more into your individuality, you're going to start having more boundaries. You're going to value your own time more. You're going to stop being codependent. You're going to stop trying to prove yourself. You're going to value yourself more in a way that you don't need. When you stop proving yourself and when you stop being codependent and when you start putting up boundaries, that's when all those relationships start to go, oh, she changed, right? This is a huge thing. It just came up in the meeting I was just in, but I've been talking about this for a while, that when we go through menopause, it's not really a midlife crisis. It's when we wake up and go, oh, the way I've been living really doesn't work anymore. And it's almost like our physical body has to go through a change for us to understand that. And in my experience, as I adjust my psyche and my inner truth with that, the physical symptoms go away. And so many people right now are like, oh, I need hormone replacement therapy and all these things. You don't need that. Your body will self-regulate when you self-regulate you. When you figure out, this is who I am at a core, this is who I'm here to be, and I'm not playing around anymore. And so what happens is then relationships start to fall away because it's not that you changed, it's that you remembered who you were. So the real you is starting to come out. And so from a human design aspect, when you hit age 43, that's when that change starts to happen. Like some of you, if you're in your 50s, 60s and above, you can look back and you can go, gosh, right around that age, my world fell apart or something exploded or something massively changed. For me, it was getting divorced. Like I just one day just went, I'm done doing this. And I had thought about it for a long, long, long time. Did I ever think I would do it? I never thought I would do it. It was just not on my radar. I wanted my family. I wanted to be in the kind of marriage that I was told and brought up to believe was the way that it should be. And so I was trying to fit myself into that box and live that, and putting up with stuff that were so misaligned that I totally got lost. And it was like when I turned, I'm gonna have to go back and look at the dates because I might have been exactly 43. But I know that right around age 44 is when I just totally came back out and was myself again. And so I'm telling you all that because I want you to understand that everything that's happening in the world right now is not bad. It's actually for our good. But some of us are going to be really aware of it, and some of us are going to be lost in it and lost in the fear, and we're going to continue to succumb to the lies and the non-truths. And the only way that you and I can do what's correct for us is to understand our our design. Like I'm always going to plug human design, but to understand how to really tap into our self-power, our intuition, and our higher power, and really have a spiritual connection outside of religion with God or whatever you believe is correct for you. So you're here to have your own journey. And so one of the things I just want to explain a couple of the things that you're going to see. I took some notes, so I'm going to read my notes. So right angle cross of the right angle, or not, it doesn't even matter the angle. So our collective cross of planning is about surviving through each other. We need systems, we need tribal supports. We've been willing to bargain to get what we need to survive. That is all going away. So if you're feeling like I'm sick and tired of this job, I'm sick of my boss, I'm sick of my spouse, I'm sick of the way people treat me, you're done making bargains. You're here to say, okay, I can still be a kind, loving person, but I don't have to bargain. I don't have to prove my worth and my value to be in these relationships. I'm only going to be in relationships that go with what's correct for me, that are truly aligned. And you will feel that. You all carry an aura. Some of you have, depending on your design, have extremely magnetic auras. Some of us pull people into our aura that are not meant for us. Well, we all do. We all pull people into our aura in certain ways, but we have to begin to decipher who is allowed. So I just had a meeting with one of my mentors, and she said to me, you're here to be exclusive. And I'm like, gosh, I battled with that for so many years. But what's interesting is that as I'm creating the aligned group and as I'm creating my coaching programs going forward, they are not just for everybody. It's not like, oh, anybody and everybody can be part of this. It has to be aligned, because if it's not right for me, it's not right for you. And if it's not right for you, then it's not right for me. And so we have to start paying really good attention who we're creating these alliances with, who we're creating these tethers with, right? Because we have a lot of tethers with people that we do not want to have. So that tribal, that has been all about security, institutions, so schools, public school, where everything is about being conforming and doing the rules, religion, the institution of marriage and family. I talked about insurance and pensions and Social Security and all that. These are the system. It's like the thought of the system is going to support me. I'm going to be in this system and it's going to take care of me and support me. But now what we're seeing is there's no more of that. It's doing what's correct for you, because the system doesn't give a shit what's correct for you. They're here to control you, keep you in fear, siphon your energy, all of the things that happen when you're stuck in a system that is only working for itself. So that's why you're seeing the healthcare system crumble down. You're starting to see the truth come out about a lot of things. It's like all the stuff with Fauci. He's never going to get prosecuted. He's also a scapegoat. He's also a cog in the wheel that is saying, hey, this guy had to do this so that we could all wake up. And so whatever you believe about the Western medicine system, if you're living in a life today, you're seeing it start to be really exposed and really crumble. And I've talked with several people who were full into that, like as jobs, and just and for many of us, and many people, it saved their lives. And so I'm not here to say it's not good. There's not good parts of it, but I am here to say we're being woken up to what is truthful and what is real. So the cross of the sleeping phoenix is how to live from inner authority. That is your intuition. That is your truthful, what is correct for you, and your body will tell you that. So you've been conditioned by the tribal mentality to use your mind, right? Oh, let me logically think this out. Ooh, what if that's dangerous? Ooh, what if I get in trouble? So we hold ourselves back and we don't do things consistently, constantly, because of that logic. And so my goal is to teach you how to use your body to understand this is what is correct for you. So you don't have to keep questioning. The reason you second guess yourself is because your spirit knows, and that logic kicks in, and so they're kind of in battle with each other. Your spirit's like, this is what I want, this is what I need, and your logic and all the programming kicks in and goes, ooh, but do you? I don't know. What are people going to think? And so I want to teach you how to start to bypass the logic. You need it. It's there for a purpose. Your brain is there to keep you on track. It's to help you with your schedule. It's to help you answer questions. It is not here to control your life. It is not here to keep you in fear. It is here as like a virtual assistant when you need help and questions answered and research and logic. It is not here to make your decisions. Your inner authority is what makes those decisions. And when you understand what that is and you start to follow it, it will completely change your life. It will put you in positions with people and put you in front of people and opportunities that you never thought you could get. So what's interesting is last Friday, I can't remember if I don't think I've done a live since this. Anyway, last Friday, I don't even know where I was. I was somewhere where I just happened to glance at my emails, and this email popped in and it said, you're invited to this event, and the lady that was the star of the event was like one of my most favorite human design mentors. I followed her for years. I've listened to every podcast she has. I've taken tons of her trainings, but I've never like met her live. I've thought about joining her membership. So I get this invitation, and so my point in telling you this is your sacral authority. So I'm a sacral authority. So my body tells me immediately if it's a yes. And so when I saw that invitation, I was like, hell yes. Yes, 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 1,000 times yes. So I filled it out, sent it in, and I kid you not, my mind immediately went to, what's the catch? What's the deception? Why am I being invited to this? Like, it was the weirdest thing. But what it was divine intervention, right? It was a connection that needed to be made, and it needed to be made right now. But it was up to me to decide if I was going to accept the mission, right? So you are experiencing things like that every single day. But if you don't know how your body uses it, then you're screwed. Because until you learn to follow that, you will constantly bump up against walls. You will be a victim. You will have blocks. You will have health issues. You will have stress, anxiety, nervous system dysregulation. You'll have all of those things because you haven't learned to listen. And so my main mission, and why I've steered so far away from what I was doing a year ago, is because if you don't understand that, nothing else will work as we move into this next part of life. So becoming independently, the big word right now is sovereign, right? Your own being, making decisions based on what's right for you and not everyone else and not the collective. So, where was I going to go with that? There was something I was just, so here's where my brain kicks in again. So what happens next is it's the day of the event. I get a reminder email, and in the reminder email it says, we'll be excited to see all of the members. And so immediately again my logic kicks in and goes, holy shit, I'm not a member. I must have accidentally got invited to that. So I find the host on Facebook, and I message him, and I'm like, hey, I signed up for this, but I got the email and it says members, and he's like, just come. So I go to this event. It's maybe 20 people. And so my mentor is a huge world-renowned human design specialist. And she's done charts for very, very famous people. And so like to go see her is something that you typically pay a lot of money for. And so I'm telling you all this because I want you to see how, hi Cher, I want you to see how the universe is working in your favor when you're ready. When you become open to what you're here to do, the universe will work in your favor. But that logical mind of yours is constantly going to put people in your way, put thoughts in your way, and keep you out of that until you are 100% sure. And that is why I start with human design now, is so that you can understand your exact design, and then none of the rest of it matters. But it took me 4 years to really start to trust it. But I'm telling you now, I want to expedite that for anybody else because it's magic, straight up magic. So I go to this meeting. You know, I'm thinking I'll just be like, shake her hand and maybe ask for a picture. We literally have a full-on conversation after. She gives me her phone number. Anyway, what's happening next is really just incredible, and I'm not going to talk about it yet. But again, I'm sharing that with you because there's amazing opportunities waiting for you. And sometimes I'll tell you another thing that will kick in is the duality. I'm going to do a podcast in a couple of weeks with my good friend Sharon, who is the frequency specialist. She's got so much knowledge, and some of her stuff is so out there, but it's so truthful and so cool. But we're going to talk about duality because one of the big things I've struggled with in life is duality. Like in religion, you're taught about what sin is and what gets you to heaven. When you look at AI, you see what can be really detrimental and scary and bad, but you can see what can be really good. There's duality in everything. There's duality in music. And so we, especially people like me who have been brought up in the system of religion and the programming, we are constantly battling the duality because it's like, if I go over here, I'm in trouble. But if I go over here, it might be super fun and I might learn something really cool. So how do I manage life in the duality without being a total mess, right? So one of my big things is frequency, because music is frequency, and I like sometimes crazy, chaotic music. Well, the truth about crazy, chaotic music is that it gets the chaos out of your body. So the duality of maybe some of that screaming, yucky music, you can use it as a tool, but it can also affect your mood in a negative way. So you have to learn to play in the duality, and that's what we're going to talk about in the podcast. And Sharon, if you see this, I'm calling you today to schedule that because I've had it on my mind for a couple days. But there's duality in health and in eating. Like, that's another thing I've struggled with. 7 years ago, 8 years ago, it's been almost 9 years now, I got super, super sick. So everything in my life became about health. The way I ate, just everything, like things that were allowed in my house, the activities that I did, everything was so structured around my health that it was pretty obnoxious. I mean, it really was. And until I got in the space of other people that were doing that, I didn't wake up to the fact that that was effed up. So again, the duality. You still have to take care of your physical body. You have to eat healthy. You have to avoid chemicals and toxins as much as you can. You also have to be able to live in the world and experience the world. And you have to trust that your body will alchemize if you're living truly to that inner authority. So, do I eat Twinkies and Doritos and all the shit that I used to eat and crave? No. Do I sometimes eat a whole bag of gummy bears? I sure as shit did yesterday. So now my fix is gone for a while and I won't do that. But it's having that balance of the duality, right? So can you binge watch TV on Netflix? Yeah, you can, but that's not going to get you anywhere. Like, if you want to grow and like be something and do something in life that's fun and valuable, you got to get off the couch, right? But sometimes you need downtime. Many of you have it too in your human design that says, I need downtime. Many of you are projectors. You absolutely have to have downtime. So when you're working against your own body's natural energy, your body will get sick. And so what I noticed as I was working with women, I mean, I've probably scanned 400 people now. And the biggest thing I noticed is people are so out of alignment with their truth because they're putting up with bullshit from people. They are eating crappy. Yes, that's a huge part of it. They are living a life, working a job, being in relationship with friends, family, spouses, toxic people. So when you start to realize this is why my body's sick, and you a little bit at a time let it go, you will start to see your body get better. So many people out there have eating disorders, whether you overeat, whether you have, you are purging, you're anorexic. If you haven't if you're on Ozempic, that you're going to create an eating disorder, period. And not to shame Ozempic, there are some people that absolutely need it. There are a lot of people on that do not need it, and we're going to see that that's a problem down the road. I've been saying it forever. The studies are starting to come in. Please be very careful. Get on a natural peptide if you're going to do any of that. But again, your design will tell you. Maybe your part of your path in life is to do that. So I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to create some awareness for you. So for me, what happened is I took a job that I knew from my soul I should not have taken that job. I took it because I was desperate for money, and I took it because I wanted some recognition. I wanted to feel special. I needed something in my life to make me feel like, oh, you matter, okay? So I took this job that at the time was super prestigious. They even brainwashed us to tell us how wonderful we were and how it was so rare to get this job. Now anybody can get it. No offense to my FA friends, because that's not 100% true, but there's some pretty sketchy people doing that right now. Anyway, so the universe, God said to me, I'm going to let you float around in that for a minute, and then I'm going to smack you right out of it. And many of you have heard this story, but I was on I think it was my second to last flight. I'd been getting sick for a year. It had got to the point where I was scared. Like, I'm like, something's not right. I knew it was the uniform. I was wearing a different uniform, but I was picking up the off-gassing from other people's uniforms, and I can't even tell you how much people tried to prove that I was crazy, because they're like, there's no such thing as off-gassing. Well, there is. But I could not be in an airplane enclosed in the galley, sitting in the jumpsuit next to somebody with the strap that was stained in purple across my neck, because my body was so overloaded with toxins that everything bothered it. And so I was on a flight. I can't remember where we were going. I was flying with my BFF now, Ashley, and it was our second flight together. So at the time we didn't really know each other. I was working the back, and I remember I went to pick up the phone thing, the speaker, and so on the small planes we had to read you've been on a small plane where the flight attendants stand up and they do the mask thing and they do the whole thing. When you're on a big plane, it's on the TV, right? So we were on a small plane, and the person in the back reads it while the people in the front do the whole acting it out, right? Worst thing ever. So I'm reading the thing, and my eyes are burning so bad that I literally almost can't read it. And I'm freaking out because my body's just shutting down. And I walked to the front of the plane, and now mind you, Ashley and I had one layover together, and we had a great time. I've told that story before. We've told it in our Street Brawling podcast a couple of times, I think. But basically, we had this one layover in Nashville. We had a great time. Didn't see each other again. Really didn't even contact each other again. Then we're on the second flight together. And this is why I believe in contracts with people so much. You have contracts with people that are here to push you and get you where you need to be. And I walked to the front of the plane. She was the A line. I walked to the front of the plane, and I was standing at 2B. I know exactly where I was standing. And she turned to me and she looked at me and she said, "You and I are not supposed to be here." And it was almost like this. It's almost like, in movies where it goes, "Whoa," and the light comes down. I was like, holy shit, she's right. And do you know, I can't remember if that was my last flight or my second to last flight, but after that, they wouldn't allow me to come back to work because I was trying to tell the company something's not right, and I'm getting sick, and all my friends are getting sick, and we have to fix this, and they were not having it. So they just completely said, you can't come to work. A, because it was a liability, and B, because in my human design, I'm going to call your shit out if you're out of integrity. So what was cool is, I don't even know how it happened, but she and I ended up being bestie friends after that. And so I never came back to work. She worked for another year. As soon as COVID hit, she was able to take a leave. They allowed people to take leave, so she took the leave, and then she eventually got out of it. So we both knew we weren't supposed to be there. So going back to what started that is, the universe knew I was not supposed to be there. The universe knew. I always thought, okay, well, I had to get sick because I needed to help people with their health. Well, that's not 100% true, because even though I still help people with their health, it's from a completely different level than just looking at your nutrition or your blood work. And so as I'm saying that, I feel really like I want to tell you, if you're having stuff like that happen, and things keep changing, and you're like, what the hell am I here for? What am I supposed to do? Sometimes that's part of the plan. Like, as a manifesting generator, my plan is constantly changing. I have to pivot and change when it doesn't feel correct anymore. If you're a generator, you need structure. So if you go back into the last few posts that I posted over the last few days, I've done one for manifesting generator. I think projector came out today. Tomorrow, manifester will come out. If you go look at those little graphics, they tell you what the aspects of each of those types are, and most of the time when you read yours, it will resonate. You'll be like, that's totally me. And it's so cool because I can meet people now and usually tell what they are when I meet them. I'm not always right, but a lot of times I can guess, especially if I know them. What's interesting too is when I'm watching TV, I'll be like, oh, they're a manifesting generator, or even they're a Cancer, they're a Pisces. And so when you start to open your mind up to all this woo-woo stuff, it's actually real. Like, it's the most ancient information we've ever had. When Jesus was born, the wise men followed the stars. That's astrology, okay? Some of the most ancient information started way, 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 way back then. I believe Abraham in Judaism was the first to do astrology. Well, where did that come from? It was downloaded from a higher power, just like some of these modalities happen as well. So my point to you is, if you feel the chaos, if you're like, what the hell is going on, don't let the fear mess with you. Don't let it mess with you. Get in touch with your truth. Find your true identity. Learn how to listen to your intuition, and really connect and get rid of the people in your life that are toxic. A lot of times as you grow, they will fall away, okay? And it doesn't mean that you have to completely have like this dramatic, I'm cutting you out of my life. Stop engaging with them. If you continue to engage with people who are toxic, who have a tether to you, you're holding on to the rope. You're like, don't quite want to let go. When you let go of the rope, they will choose whether to stay in your life in a way that works within your boundaries, or they will choose to go away and never come back. And it's really incredible how what happens with the universe is when you're done, that person will be cut out of your life and you will literally never see them again. Sometimes you have to block them. I've had people in my life that I'm like, I'm just blocking you because it's a tether, right? Even if I just see a text and I don't even respond, it's like a hook. It's like hooking into you, trying to get your attention all the time. What I want you to really understand is that on the human plane, it may seem mean and horrible and terrible, but from a spiritual perspective, these people have agreements with you to push you. And if you're not growing, if they aren't pushing you. So for instance, when you leave a relationship, let's say you're in a marriage that's really toxic and you're afraid to leave, and maybe it's really good, but you've just grown apart. That person, that spouse or other person in that relationship is there to push you. You're the one that controls whether you move on, right? So their agreement with you, this is what I believe, and I've done a ton of studying around this, but their agreement with you is, I'm going to be the a-hole in your life, and I'm going to be mean, and I'm going to push you, and I'm going to do all the things to make you see your power so that you can walk away and really jump into it. And so when you stay in relationships with people where it doesn't work for anyone, like one of you, it's not working for either of you. And so what you're doing is you're holding each other hostage just for the sake of, oh, I have to be in this relationship. It's the same with your job. If you're working in a job that you literally hate, or you get a headache every time you go to work, or you come home, I used to come home crying, not from my flight attendant job. After I got my health coaching certification, I had a job that I absolutely loved, but I literally would come home crying. And I would lay on I remember one night in particular going in on the bed and my guy coming in and he's like, what is wrong? And I was just sobbing and he's like, well, why are you working there? Like, he's so logical. He's like, well, why don't you just get a different job? I loved my job, but there was something in the dynamics of the job that were rubbing so hard against my gate of integrity that I couldn't do it. Because my integrity alarm was just going la 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 la. And I knew it, and I was voicing it because I'm designed to be very heretic. I'm going to tell you how it is. But I was miserable because I was watching it happen to other people who didn't have the guts that I did to stand up for it. And so, beautiful space, beautiful people there, beautiful, great owner, but the dynamics were not working for me. And so I kept getting all these pings of but my fear and my logic and my brain were like, but it's a great job and you love what you're doing and you're learning a lot. My doctor taught me so many things. So I'm truly grateful for that. And I want to make the point that everything serves a purpose, right? Like the way that whole job came about was miraculous. And I'll have to tell that story another time. But when you have those synchronicities, that's when you start to recognize those, that's when you go, oh my gosh, this is the universe showing me. And sometimes it's going to teach you something really yucky you didn't want to learn, but you're learning something about yourself. You're learning, hey, I can see certain things that other people don't see. Do I have to stay in this? No, I absolutely don't have to stay in this. So where was I with that? So as we transition from the cross of planning, which was all structure, and now, like I said in the beginning, everything's crumbling, everything's falling apart, people are afraid, what's going to happen next. We don't have control over that. No one has control over what's going to happen next. We don't have control over pretty much anything other than how we act and what thoughts we have in our head. So as this happens, we're coming into that individualization. So it is very important for you to be happy and survive in the next 400 years. You're not going to be here that long, but in the next, starting in 2027, you're going to see this in a major way. And if you start, I don't like to get people down rabbit holes because for some of us it's really icky. But if you start really opening up your awareness to truth, things will start to come into your feed. It's interesting how I feel like I have this weird concept of AI being like all knowledge, all knowing, and it can be used either way, but it's actually I have a thought that maybe it's like a connection to higher knowledge. Because I feel like when I start thinking about something, like I get these knowings about things. A lot of you are really intuitive and you'll get just this knowing. Like some of us have this knowing of that's not a good person. Some of us have this knowing of that person's in pain. We all have these intuitive knowings. We have them. They're innate in us. Some of us just were born and able to use them. Some of us have to kind of learn how to use them. But I have this thing of knowing where something will come out in the world and I'll be like, that's not true. Or I'll be like, that's not going to go well. And if I tell people about it, they'll think I'm crazy. And so I've learned to kind of just keep it within my group of people that get it. And so then when it happens, then I'm like, haha, told you. And I'll even have people that I've told come back and be like, you were right. And it's not about me being right. The point is I have these knowings, and as soon as I get them now, I literally get stuff in my feed that validates the knowing. And so you are always being guided. You are always, always, always being guided. The problem is that all the noise, all the crap, all the media, because again, duality in social media, I talk about all the time how I hate social media. But there's the duality of I can't 100% give it up because there's oftentimes I'm scrolling and something will just jump out and I'll be like, oh my heck, I needed to know that today. The problem is the doom scrolling and the spending hours and the wasting tons of time. You just don't want to do that. So if this is intriguing to you, get a chart, pull up your chart. If you don't want to spend the money to do a reading, then just pull up your chart and spend 4 years like I did learning about it. But it will change your life. And if it's meant for you, it will resonate with you. Some of you are going to look at this and be like, oh, that's crazy. That's cuckoo. And some of you are going to be like, I need to know this information now. So the reason that I created the aligned group is because it took me, I'm still learning about my design. I actually am just joining in another more advanced group to learn deeper about my own design by somebody who's been doing it for 20 years. Because it's helped me so much that I just want to know more. But the Align group is going to help you understand you. So the founding members get a half price reading, but we're going to have weekly Zooms, and oh, my battery's going to run out, and those will be recorded. But it's not going to be all about human design, but I'm going to weave human design into how it works in your life with what you want to accomplish, with relationships, with your authenticity, with integrity, with intuition, and how parts of your human design will tell you what your purpose is, how to run your business properly. So if that's intriguing to you, join. Do it. You're not committed to anything. You can cancel at any time. Founding members do get a half price human design reading. But pull it up. If you pull up your chart and you go into ChatGPT, you've got to get really good at training ChatGPT to tell you the correct answers, because it's pulling from all information. So about 40% of it is correct. So I can put my own chart. I'll put my own chart in and to train it. And it will oftentimes be wrong. So I'm not saying don't do that, but you have to know if it's telling you the truth, because it'll send you on a whole other tangent has nothing to do with you. But I wanted to put that out there because, hold on, I wasn't going to do a lot of lives anymore, and I just keep doing it because I just feel like this is a space where I see more people for right now. But it is all going to go to my Substack. So if you're not subscribed to my Substack, it's free to subscribe. I'm not going to spam you with email, but you'll get the email for the podcast every week. I have some cool guests coming up. I've got some super cool guests coming up. But the reality is you have to engage. So many people are just sitting on the fence right now. They're like, oh, I want to do stuff, but I don't want to. One of the big ones I get right now, and I'm 100% guilty of it, and it's why I get it, is because it's the universe mirroring it back to me. Like, well, here you go. it's investing into yourself. Like, how we as women do not invest in ourselves. We're willing. I just remember even going shopping. I have money to spend at like Shopko back when Shopko was around. And I would literally go into the store like wanting to buy something for me, but I felt more justified if I was buying it for my kids. So I never bought myself anything. And I remember when I started flying, can't say never, I mean I bought necessities. But when I started flying and I started having my own money and I was making really good money, I could tell you the things that I bought because I was so proud of. I bought myself that. Like it was such a big deal to me to just have money to buy myself whatever the freak I wanted. And so, what I've noticed in working with women and all people, but mostly women, is we don't invest in ourselves. A lot of it's a time thing. A lot of people will say, "Well, I don't have time," and nothing drives me more crazy than when someone says to me, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sick. I feel miserable. I'm not sleeping. I can't handle, like, I've got so much anxiety. I've got all these things," but they don't want to take time for themselves to get quiet. They don't want to take time to do the things that are going to calm their nervous system. They'll take time to scroll the internet. They'll take time to watch the news or to binge on Netflix. They'll take time to do all the things to be codependent with their kids and their grandkids and all the things, but they won't take time for them. And that is because it's been programmed into us that women are second class, that we don't get, we're here to serve everyone. Well, that's going away. The goddess is coming back. And as much as I kind of sort of cringe at those kinds of words like goddess, that's the truth of the matter. We are making a comeback. It's not feminism like started back in the 60s. It's like the truth that the women actually were the leaders. If you start digging back into old religion and you start looking at Mary Magdalene and you dive into the texts around that, she was a leader. She walked side by side with Jesus. And whatever you believe about Jesus, I believe he was a New Age transformer. Like, I don't know if all the things in the Bible and that are true because it's been so changed by government for control. They eliminate most of the women. Like, if you really start to deep dive religion, you're going to see feminine power is huge. What we have to offer can change the world. Not from an icky, I need to be your equal and men suck. It's not that. It's a, hey, we need women because we have all these special gifts that men just don't have. You know it if you're in a relationship or you have children that are men. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. There is a reason for that, and we need both to participate together. So, where was I going with that? I don't even know. Guess that just needs to be said. So, it's time for you to I was talking about people who don't want to take time for themselves. So, it's time for you to step forward, take time for yourself. If you tell me that you don't have the money, then I'm going to ask you, first and foremost, how many times are you buying coffee or fast food every week? That's just the reality of it. And there was many years in my business where I didn't want to say things like that, but I can't transform and help people if I don't tell them the truth. And the truth of the matter is that you are worth it. You are choosing, oftentimes, not you personally, like we as women oftentimes choose something that is more detrimental to us over something that is empowering and good for us just because we don't believe we deserve it. And many of you, most of us have in our human design lack of self-worth. It is huge in about 68% of people's human design. Mine is completely undefined, meaning I have had issues with worth my whole life. It also means that I see it in other people. And so I'm here right now to tell you, you are worth it. I don't care if it's the Align program. I don't care if you have someone else you follow. I don't care if there's something you've been wanting to invest in that's going to help you from a physical standpoint. If you need to go see a therapist and you've been putting that off, whatever it is that's going to get you what you need, do it. Like, figure out how to do it. And I promise you, as you open up to possibility, as you open up to what's there for you, the universe will provide it. You have to start making the decisions, though, that allow that. And we're all going to screw up. We're all going to, on a daily, make stupid ass decisions, and that's okay. It's as long as you're growing and you're learning a little something every single day. So once you understand your purpose, once you understand what you're here, how you operate. So one of the things I just learned that I've never investigated in my design is that my view is survival. And when I read that, I was like, damn it. It's the truth. My whole life I've been in survival mode. But the purpose for that in my design is because I've learned to survive. I've learned to survive almost being so sick that I just wanted to die, and probably a couple times almost did. I've learned to survive being completely out of money and like figuring shit out. I've learned to survive, and so my job is to teach you how to survive, if that makes sense. So some of you guys have the view of possibility, and you're like the little Tinkerbells that just go around and sparkle, and you make everybody see what's possible, and you're just fun and you're full of ideas. Some of you have I'm trying to think of one of the other ones. There's one about personal power. That one's really rare. They're very, very powerful people. So once you understand, I promise you they will resonate. Sometimes I look at them and I'm like, survival, that's a boring, that sucks. But when I look at what I'm doing in my life, it's exactly what I'm doing. I'm teaching people how I survived what I've so far been through, and it actually makes it kind of fun. I'm trying to get a card to pop out. So I'm going to read a card, and then I'm going to be done because this was going to be short and now it's long, but you know me, I just get rambling. Oh, projections. I want to say this one just came up. So this one's a mirror, projections. It's probably going to go exactly with projections with lots of gold sparkles around it. It's probably going to go with exactly what we were talking about because it usually does. Okay, projections is those people who trigger something in us hold up a mirror that is within ourselves. Okay, let me start over. Holy cow, that is so on point. Those people who trigger something in us hold up a mirror to what's within ourselves. Projection is a defense mechanism whereby we mistake what's going on within us for what's happening in the world around us. Nevertheless, that which we avoid facing will show up in our lives as fate. Those feelings, behaviors, or beliefs that we chose not to explore, not to admit, not to name or claim are projected onto those around us. This is why shadow work is crucial, as without it, that which is in the unconscious will continue to appear in the external world. There's wisdom in the saying that when you're pointing your finger at someone else, turn it around and look back at yourself. Of course it takes courage to do this, for it requires us to delve into the shadows of our psyche, but we'll find the gift of freedom here. We can be triggered by those who we despise as well as those we admire. Who frustrates or triggers you the most? What is it about this person that you can't stand or that you admire the most? How does this quality relate to the way you think about yourself? So the soul inquiry is, who is triggering you? What is it that's triggering within you? And be brutally honest with yourself. What are you being called to do? So when you can start to, so I'll tell you, something that I've learned just in the last probably 6 months to a year is when I feel triggered by somebody, it's usually around a boundary. So when I feel like I have to over-explain, or I have to tiptoe, or I have to be like, I just don't want to deal with that, it's because it's a boundary that I need to set, that I don't want to set, because in my human design, I have an open emotional solar plexus, meaning I feel people's emotions. I'm constantly aware of people's emotions. I'm also a double Cancer, meaning my Cancer, or my sun and my moon are both in Cancer, which makes me very sensitive and very I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And so what that does is it plays against the line 5 in my line, because the line 5 is the heretic. Line 5s actually hold a mirror, a full-length mirror up to you that show you. You're going to look at when you're in a line 5's energy, you're either going to look at them and go, I don't like what I see, because they're projecting back to you yourself, or you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, there's something in me that is that, and I want to see more of that. And so that is why, as a line 5, I talk about this a lot with my own experience in my whole life that I didn't understand. People either love you or they hate you. There's no in between. And so what I was doing my whole life was trying to manage everybody's emotions, like, oh, I don't want to hurt everyone's feelings. And when I realized that I'm just here to be that mirror, I don't get to choose. I'm not going to choose who's in my circle. They get to choose, right? I don't have to be offended. But what I've noticed is that when I set up boundaries, bye, that's when the people go away. And so I'm still very aware of it. I had a situation today where I felt like I had to over-explain myself to not hurt someone's feelings. But my literal gut was saying, you don't need to explain anything. They can either like you or they don't like you. You don't have to explain, but I still explain for their benefit, because some people just don't understand the energetics of it the same way that I do. And I don't want to lose relationships because someone doesn't see something from a level that I see it. If they're open to hearing it, great. If they're not, if I say, hey, let's talk about it, and they're like, yeah, I'm busy, I don't want to talk about it, then that's their answer, right? But if I say, hey, let's talk about it, because let me explain my perspective, and you can take it or leave my perspective, but I'm having my boundary, that creates better relationships on all levels, right? So again, go get rid of all the crap in your life. I'm in the process right now of, I'm remodeling my office. I'm getting rid of crap in my house, clothes that I've hung on to forever. Just start moving things out. Get rid of people on your Facebook page and your Instagram that are negative, that don't give a shiz about you. Clear out your email, unsubscribe from anything that you don't open, that doesn't resonate with you, people that are bombarding you with spam. I hate email, which is one of the reasons I struggle with doing email. Thank goodness Substack just sends it out when I do a podcast or a post, because I don't want to be the person that drives me nuts. So anyways, I love you guys. I think you're great. I would love to have you in the Align group. I have a few more spots open for the founding members for the half price readings if you want to do that. The wait list is open now, so if you go up, I believe I pinned it to the top of the page, you can get on the wait list. Anyone on the wait list is going to be first in. Haven't decided where I'm going to cap it yet. I want to keep it fairly small, but I'm only going to do a certain amount of free or of half price readings, just because I don't have time to do that many. And then I hope you'll join me on Substack, because that's where really most of my content is going to be. And if any of this resonated with you, I would love to hear in the comments just what it made you think. Because here's the deal. One of the big things about the cross of the Sleeping Phoenix is, even though we're getting away from tribal, we're also coming into select communities, like communities that really resonate with you, communities that support each other, where, hey, she's the chef, this is the fitness person, this is where you're in a collective where everyone is kind of on the same page. We're still individual, but we're trying to create something together that creates security and safety for everyone. So that's what I'm doing with the Substack, is I want that to be a place where all of my community is, so that eventually I cannot be sidetracked by Facebook. Like there's something that's been in me for like years that's just like, this isn't where you're supposed to be. So that's why I'm creating the Substack. You can go there, you can view it, but if you're a subscriber, you'll get extra stuff. Okay. Love you guys. Have an awesome, awesome weekend. It's Friday.